don't think anybody pays enough money to get me in their band anymore.
Oh, I'm not going to pay you any money. Hey, what's up, buddy?
Oh, I was just coming in on halfway through your conversation, and that was
Yeah, wickedness over here. Yeah, wickedness. Yeah, I am for hire, but it's very expensive.
What to just play?
I got a back end deal. Like I need 10% of everything you make in perpetuity.
Just to be a hired gun for one
perpetuity?
random gig. How much are we talking?
$450. I shoot a $450 bullet. That's what kind of hired gun I am. Yeah.
To play which instrument?
$450 gets you only electric guitar. If I got to switch to a different guitar, we could probably work that in for $500. If I got to switch to a different instrument, that's gonna be about $1,000.
Well, you have to take into account, strings, practice time on each guitar to be comfortable with per song.
Strings, mainly
25 years of poverty on the road. Yes.
I mean, man, if that's the going rate, how much do I get for 10?
Yeah.
$10 or $10,000. Because I have a package for both of those.
Great. Perfect.
And let me just tell you, my $10 package is something. Hey, cut that out and put it on TikTok, Chad.
I don't know about what the going rate's like in Chicago, but $450 for a hired gun. I mean, I'm trying to think of, do we know anybody that's paying $450?
$450 was the last I got paid to work. That was the last that I got paid for a regular bar gig. Yeah. That band was getting paid for sure. I mean, I've made real big money for like private events or whatever,
Do you have their number?
Well, what's going on, everybody? Bert Bala, Chugga Diesel, live from the Maricondo. We are so excited to have one of our own with us tonight in Mr. Brandon Good. You got the applause button? Where did it go? we could set that. I could get that going if I wanted to, but that sounds like a hell of a lot of work.
Go to some open source sounds.
Just have a button on here where I just go. How you doing, Brandon? Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us, dude. We're so pumped to have you. What's going on? All of the things.
All the things. Wow. Well, there's a lot going on here. Obviously, living in Chicago, there's a bajillion things going on at all times. In my life at the moment, really a lot of the focus is well, I mean, everyone's gonna get to know me really well. I guess I've been pretty hard searching for a job. I've been working as a 1099 person for my whole adult life, but as you know, recently tech has kind of taken a little a bath here recently. And so I've been doing that. I've been booking a lot of stuff I run a country and Americana night here once a month at a bar called the Owl. And then so I book for that, and I've been booking quite a few other shows, for out of town folks, and just kind of trying to keep building on what's already here. And I got a 5-year-old in school, and Jess works full time, and writing. I'm still writing. I have quite a bit going with that, and I was supposed to go into record, but I had to put that on hold. So I'm trying to make the most of the extra time I have to write more. And I'm playing a whole bunch. That's kind of my life these days. So trying to think of what else, I guess.
How do Chuck and I become tech bros? Because I feel like that's my, I pick up a lot of new hobbies. I learn things new. I feel like tech bro is coming up soon.
So, but I don't want to be like a coder or like
I'm not that.
A designer or anything like that. I just want to be the guy who like has the ideas.
Yeah.
And then everybody thinks he's a genius, but like, what's it do?
You want to be a creative director.
That seems like a lot of work.
Already does.
That seems like a lot of work, actually. I'm thinking like CEO, probably.
Yeah.
Can you just introduce me to somebody that'll hire me as a tech CEO?
Well,
You got any contacts?
all you have to do is charge an obscene amount of money
Mm-hmm.
and act like you're supposed to make that much money.
Yeah.
You can be a tech CEO.
Cool.
Yeah. Twitch just got a new Twitch's CEO just left and they got a new I mean, you could oust the new person.
Is it like an arm wrestling competition?
I don't
or-
know anything about these tech bro bubbles. This is something I feel like I need to get into.
It's like how Wakanda was like the technically most advanced place on the planet, but still chose their leaders by like ceremonial combat.
Right.
I'm afraid that tech CEOs might do that.
That's probably true.
Yeah.
How much experience do you have with that, Brandon?
With fighting in the same manner of Prince T'Challa,
Ritual combat.
ritual combat.
Yeah.
Well, that depends on what you define as ritual combat. I did grow up in the evangelical right, so
Oh, come on now.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
go.
sorry. I'll keep.
Oh,
Yeah.
please don't be sorry.
You got our tech bros up in their feelings over here. Keith and Sad Chad going for it. Going for it.
In the realm, I'm sure. Well, I guess I don't know as much for you, Chuck, but I know Bert probably understands very well what I mean.
Mhm.
So,
Yep. So you're gonna be on the road a little bit coming up, or what's your plan?
I'm hoping to come for the reunion.
Yes.
And I'm gonna start. I'm starting to book some weekend stuff. I've been trying to not be as. I'm trying to make the most of it. So I was hoping that before I did that I would be able to have new music ready. But it would seem that may not be the case now. I'm doing kind of a special thing tomorrow night. Where I am actually gonna record a few kind of like, I guess, alternative takes of a couple of songs, one new original and one cover, which and then I will, depending on how those come out, I may put those out, just to have something new kind of buzzing around.
Mhm.
And then but my hope is to do some, by the end of the year, actually do some full, like, maybe a couple of tours here and there, either weekends or long weekends, or take a week, depending on like, as far as like how a job goes. I just need to be able to work and put some money aside so I can make that a reality. So
Mhm.
I'm pretty either that, or if I don't find a job, I'm just going to start writing songs and sending them to publishing houses and see how that goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, how old are we where we're like, man, I gotta save money and I gotta work enough to where I can get a week.
Yeah.
Back when we were like 20s, we were like, let's just go.
Right. Yeah.
Your priorities take a shift especially once you have kids.
Yeah.
Well, it is still my priority, but my obligations require me to to make sure that people are taken care of, and so I still am like, let's go. Like,
Yeah.
let's get going. But then I'm also like, yeah, we can get going as soon as we have a little bit of safety.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to talk to you about where are you kind of at, especially when you start to have families and children and all of this stuff. How are you feeling about where you're at right now with your music? Where would you like to be? Kind of, because we all go through these emotional roller coasters of what place music should have in our lives. We all know that I'm a complete failure at trying to figure that out. But where is it for you? How are you feeling about it? Are you positive? Are you what's going on?
I'm trying to have like a really good attitude because it is really easy to be discouraged about these things, and I think something that like is for me is that has been consistent throughout my whole life is that my dream, like my lifelong dream, has always just been to play music. I don't like I haven't, I don't have like a whole lot of other things that I'm like super passionate about. And so
Not Tech Bros.
no, not tech bros. I mean, the really nice thing about tech and working from home is that I can work from the road. Like last year
Yeah.
when I came out for the and did like a short tour out to the reunion, I worked every day in the car. So I mean that kind of like you're doing kind of a double grind in that way, but also it feeds my soul that I got to like, we went and played Kansas City and we played in Denton, Texas and St. Louis and in Oklahoma. So it was like, and that, that kind of feeds my soul. And, for 10 years, that was my full-time job. And so I just have the taste for it. I love being able to play every night and sing every night and like connect with people. Like it's just as much about being able to connect with people as it is, being able to play music for me. And see new places and something that I think that I feel very fortunate about is that I have gotten the opportunity to know basically like meet people from every single walk of life and that have like so many different perspectives and just ways of existing in the world. And a lot of people stay within their bubble and stay within like a very comfortable place in their life. But for me, the place I'm most comfortable is being presented with a lot of new information and new people and hearing how they live their life. So that's like a lot of it for me is on top of being a songwriter and on top of trying to distill ideas into like melody and song. So
yeah. I think
Chuck doesn't communicate with anybody when he's on the road. He does not do any.
It has nothing to do with being on the road. I don't communicate with anybody.
There is no like connection. He is the star, and they are blessed that he's in the room with them.
You know how they say no man is an island?
Yeah.
Catch me outside. Fuck around and find out. I'm a motherfucking island, baby. I forget where my phone is for long periods of time.
Yeah.
Then I walk around looking for it. Then I realize it's in my pocket giving me butt cancer. This is a daily occurrence.
I think maybe that statement isn't entirely correct. I think what it should say is no man starts out as an island.
Yeah,
but people can disconnect if they want. Yeah,
and I'm a pretty disconnected person. I kind of live like I'm on like a 4-day staycation all the time.
Yeah,
my Saturdays are pretty protected. I think so. Is your pursuit right now for you personally? Because I'm gonna just like trample all over your story and give you a bunch of unsolicited advice. But is your pursuit kind of to get off the road a little bit and focus more on a square job and just kind of have like a little more consistency in your livelihood and in your income situation and all that and benefits and such?
No, I'm not willing. I'm going to be totally honest with you. And this is a part of my problem probably is I'm not really willing to sacrifice either of those things.
Gotcha. So you really need to be remote probably to achieve what you want to do.
Yes, exactly. And I mean, and I'm, I have been picking up work at my old AV job. I used to be working like live show industry. That was a big part of what I did when I was home from tour.
What did you do? What was your specialty in that?
I actually kind of grew a lot when I was doing that. I did a lot of corporate events, and I started mainly as like a stagehand with like kind of a focus in audio, but as I kept going, I learned a lot about lighting.
Mhm.
And I actually started delving into video towards the end of my time, mainly in the like with like I guess like cameras and like projectors. Mostly actually would probably be more, and switching between like doing like switching and stuff, not so
Mhm.
much the not so much the like tech end in like a programming sense, but
Right.
in kind of basically how to connect that stuff. But I've obviously lost all that, as we discovered before this. this
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, it's I mean, that's kind of a thing too. It's like take a couple years off, okay, what the hell is this thing?
Yeah.
Yep.
There's been
Precisely.
a big change like since we've been doing music, like I mean, I remember I was telling like kids when I was like 20 something, I was telling teenagers, I was like, just get used to never having a monitor. Just get used to never being able to hear what you yourself
Now they
are
can
doing.
hear everything.
Now they got belt packs and in-ear monitors.
Yeah.
If they look at a wedge monitor, they just gasp
Mhm.
and just, what is
Yeah.
this?
Why is that speaker looking at me? Seems dangerous, Mom.
I think that's something that's like really strange to me. I've tried in-ear monitors exactly twice, and I was like, this is not, because of my background, and for, I guess, really quickly, for those of those here that don't really know my story, the 10 years I was on the road, I was in a punk band. So in-ear monitors was something that we just joked about. Especially, we kind of jumped in between like the normal punk circuit, but also did a lot of like Christian festivals. The guys that I toured with are still Christian guys, and like they are kind of known a lot in that. They did Cornerstone a bunch, and Audio Feed, and a whole bunch of other like festivals and stuff we did. But so we would end up at these festivals with these bands that like all had like in-ear monitors, and like not even like didn't even have real, like, no offense to anyone that doesn't, I understand the value at this point. It's not my thing, but they didn't have like real amps or anything, and they're trying to play like aggressive music, and we were always nice to them, but it was always kind of comical to us because we're like, how do you feel this music?
Yeah.
I bet their backs felt great though.
Yeah, that's true. It's true.
Yeah.
You know what my thing was? It was like I was gonna save my back, so I put wheels on my tiny little lamp, and then I messed up my back wrestling a dog, man. A dog.
Well,
Tragic.
the funny part about all that is like the festival is always backlined. So
Right.
Let's talk about this though. Would you use in-ears if you had access to them?
No.
I swear by them, man.
I
I
know
don't know if I would want to use a wedge ever again.
a lot of people do. The way I interact with music myself, and it's completely it's completely like a preference thing, but like I really start to connect with music as I like feel the frequency, and like, I feel it hitting my body. I don't just hear it, like it resonates for me through my whole body. And so for me, having like the in-ears in like really takes away, because like I don't play music just for like other people. I play music that I want to hear. And so I don't mind, and this, I don't know if this sounds pretentious or whatever, but like I don't mind listening to myself. I like listening to myself, like, because I'm not singing songs just to you. I'm singing these songs to me, and I'm reminding my own self about these, the meanings behind these songs every day, So
I would say I'd argue for the same reason that I love in a band setting in-ear monitors, because let's use Bert as an example. I would say I like what I'm playing. I'm playing what I would like to hear. I
Yeah.
want more of me, but I could use a lot less of you
Yeah, he turned me off.
all the way down.
It reminds me a lot of this might go over some people's head, but there's an old New York band called Agnostic Front, and they have like one of the most legendary like old school hardcore dudes. His name is Vinny Stigma, and everyone loves him. He's awesome. He's a god awful guitar player. So
Beloved.
the only person that hears Vinny Stigma actually is Vinny Stigma. And it's, you know, I mean, you know, if this gets back around to him, I'm sorry, Roger, and to the other guys that I let the cat out of the bag, but you know.
He's coming in here with the hot takes.
What's that, dude?
How do you feel about abortion?
Oh man, do we really want
you're on the seat
my
now.
light's on fire? I'll talk about it.
I do not. I'm just kidding. I want to. So you made a comment earlier that being on the road and like doing music is something that you won't sacrifice. It's something I try to sacrifice about every week. And I'm wondering, why wouldn't you sacrifice it? Why is it so important to you?
There's something in me. There's like a nagging, you know. It's I guess I don't mind saying it. It's like a romanticized, you know, thing for me that I've always just loved, of like, you know, the freedom and like the like the newness and like kind of just the oh man, how do I say it? It's hard to articulate. Like, it doesn't make sense all the time. It's just like I'm home, you know, and I like being at home. Like something I really loved. I used to live in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and you know, I have been, you know, like I like to spend a lot of time in the woods and stuff like that by myself. Like that's something I really love. But like then there's always this nagging of like there's a lot of like a wanderlust, if you will. You know, there's who knows like what you're gonna experience. Like there's a whole lot of things out there that for me, I'm like, if I just am at home, I get into this mundane routine, you know, and it doesn't, you know, there's something that like feeds my soul to be out on the road playing shows. You know, I get to meet really interesting people. And I've met some of my closest friends doing this, you know, and like you experience life in just such a different way. You know, you get to kind of be I guess in my experience, like I've gotten to be a person who almost has like unlimited access into people because they're willing to like share a lot of things with you and talk through a whole lot of things with you. Like there's something about being like a touring musician that people are like, they want to just talk about themselves. They want to share like about what's going on in their life. And like the stories that you get to hear, and like not just from even like a songwriting perspective, but you get to hear all these different stories that end up really like affecting you as a human being. Mm-hmm. And like affect you in a way that either like changes your perspective, challenges your perspective, or, you know, even just like allows you to like see, like allows you to understand the world around you a little bit better, because you never know you never know like when someone's going to word something so specifically perfect for what you like, for the way you receive information, that like could change your life. I think that's like a really interesting and beautiful thing, and that really feeds like my want to like go. Like I want to go and meet people. I want to go and understand them. I want to hear what they have to say, you know. And like you also don't know when you're going to say something that's going to be extremely helpful to someone's life. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of reasons, and like for me, it's, you know, this isn't a new thing for me. It's just like been a part of my life for so long that I'm like that really feeds me and makes me feel alive. You know, it makes me feel like I'm doing something that, you know, maybe nobody remembers me about it, but like I'm doing something that I feel is like really important, you know. So
how did you go from a touring punk band to leading or to writing country songs? Like what?
Yeah.
How did that happen?
All right, so I grew up in a house. My parents, so my parents both grew up Mennonite. So there's a very rich history of like listening, like in my house, of listening to a lot of like Southern gospel, for part harmony kind of stuff. My dad listened to like the oldies station a lot of the time, you know, and like when you're at that time, like when you're talking about oldies, you know, it's like there was such a jump in genre on pop radio that it was, you know, it was the Beach Boys, it was the Beatles, it was Willie Nelson, it was, you know, all of these like country artists, like what we would call like rock, like pop rock and roll, like for that time, you know, soul music, all of that stuff got played on, you know, popular radio because it wasn't really a genre of, you know, of pop per se. So so for me, like I was just exposed to so much music growing up. And I remember I was actually talking to a friend of mine today or yesterday about this. I remember the first time I ever heard a pedal steel guitar come over the airwaves. And so like there was, I remember like riding in the car with my dad, and I asked him, I was like, what is that?
Yeah.
And he was like, that's a steel, you know, a steel guitar. And I was like, I really love that. And he was like, you like that crying and dying stuff? And you know, he still says that. He still kind of says that from time to time these days. And you know, for me, you know, that was like something I started getting into early, and like it translated into, you know, I just had like a deep love for all kinds of music. And so so I it was always there. Like I always loved country music, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
and I loved bluegrass as well. Like I grew up going to a Mennonite camp, and I mean, he's still alive today. He's like 97, I think now. His name is Ed Roth, and he is a mandolin player. And he played this old he still has it, plays this old 1930s Gibson A-style mandolin. It has like the really ornate, you know, top. And we would sit out on the lodge porch and play bluegrass versions of like hymns. And, you know, and then, you know, at church, growing up, you know, I played a lot in the adult band because I was too weird for the kid band. They wanted to do like the Hillsong United thing. And, you know, I was wearing, you know, plaid pants and, you know, stuff like that. So I ended up in the like the main service band because they were just like, well, as long as you're wearing a button-up shirt, we don't care, you know. And
I bet you got some great stories about your wardrobe from that time period.
Yeah, it was awesome. And really
stuff I used to wear to church, man.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's someone mentioned, yeah, you he mentioned MXPX harmonies, but yeah, I mean, I was definitely listening to like MXPX and Slick Shoes, but like the people I was playing with were all these older like black folks that were gospel players and blues and funk players. And then there's one guy that like he didn't really give me lessons, but he did definitely like kind of tutored me, and his name was Larry, and he was this older country guy that played, Fender amp, Telecaster, Strat, and like a blonde Gibson ES 335. Those like that's what he was playing, and he played like really crazy awesome country licks over this like awesome gospel music, and that so like it all was just there always, and a lot of my influence even like outside of country is like the Piedmont blues and Delta blues and like stuff that is super responsible for for country coming into existence and like the way, I mean, in general. So it's punk rock. I don't even think punk rock is that divorced from it. I mean, like there's a very clear linear line between all these things. So I mean, it all to me was just, I never divorced all of them. I just was like, hey, like this is something that I'm doing now. Like I love aggressive music, so I'm doing this, but like I still in the car I would play country music from Hank Williams to Dierks Bentley. I play just like some of the ridiculous pop songs you'd hear on the radio. There was a brief moment in time I thought Red Solo Cup was hysterical, and I made them listen to it because I thought it was funny. Like I've just never been someone who's like, I'm only going to listen to this. I'm not like, that was just not me. I'm sure my Spotify would give someone whiplash if I just hit shuffle, I mean, and a lot of it's, I listen to a lot of cultural music, but like, I guess like what I realize now is most of the music that I listen to is derivative of like all American, like Americana, I mean, so it just kind of was a linear thing for me. It was like not, or it wasn't really, I should say it's not a linear thing to me. It's just all these they're all connected. So it wasn't weird to me. Like people made fun of me for liking country music so much, but I didn't, I mean, I just kind of embraced it at a certain point. It's like, okay. I mean, I'm going to go listen to, Waylon Jennings and Ray Wiley Hubbard and, I mean, yeah, I just, I had like a lot of old 45s and stuff that I would throw on too, like, I don't know if you remember the Georgia Satellites.
Yeah. What
like
song did we play there?
Is that one?
What's the one?
The one, don't give me no lines and keep your pants on yourself.
Yeah.
Keep your hands to yourself.
I just started covering that a couple of weeks ago, and like I have an old clear orange 45 of that, and like a couple of old like clear, or a couple of old like just weirdly colored old like country or like country rock and roll records that I've had since I was a kid. So I mean, to answer your question, it's just always been there. I've always learned country songs. I've loved country songs. I loved punk rock songs. I've loved soul songs and blues songs. And, I mean, like on any given day, like throughout most of my life, I would jump between Mississippi Fred McDowell, Junior Kimbrough, and then, jump over to, the Hives or the Strokes, and then, jump over to any number of punk bands or, any number of hardcore bands or metal bands. It's just, to me, music is like the one thing that like makes me kind of just resonate in the world. So, So I want to get on it and just bark a little bit at everybody. All donations tonight going towards Brandon. Are we going to peer pressure him into doing a song for us?
I don't know.
You want to do a song?
We didn't have that prepared.
We did not.
Mr. Chuck just throwing out things in the middle of the
pre-discuss it.
middle of the stream.
But I like it how sometimes we're like, we'll raise money for you in a loving way, but also play for us, monkey.
Play us a song.
Well, that's what you are. Yeah, I mean, I don't. I'm trying to remember. I don't have a capo in here. I pulled a guitar.
Good for you. Good for you.
I'll tell you what. I'll play one that I'm gonna probably record tomorrow night, like an alternate take of the song. I don't know if I'm pretty sure I hadn't played this one at last year, but at the reunion. But I'm not sure if I even posted it. To tell you the truth, I can't remember about social media because I'm so bad at it. but I'll play a new one called Restless, and we'll go. Oh, I did post it. I did actually post it on YouTube, I guess. But I'll do that one. That seems to be a crowd favorite, so we'll do that. That's all right with y'all.
That sounds great, man.
Cool. How's it sound, by the way?
Fine.
Sounds great.
Just
Sounds great.
fine.
All right. I'm feeling kind of lonesome, just not in the way you think. It's the road that I am missing. It's got nothing to do with you and me. Always needed an excuse to leave my home, even though you always made me feel safe and warm. I needed them white lines to get all this restlessness off of my mind. Feeling kind of homesick, just not in the way you think. I'm not sure what I am missing. It's your tender, sweet embrace. Living out here on the road, I find I needed more than these late nights and these long drives with the boys. I needed more than white lines to get all this restlessness off of my mind. Night after night and show after show, I'm feeling more and more like sinking through the floor. No matter how secure I'm in your arms, this burning ache, it pulls me back out to the bars. I needed more than white lines to get all this restlessness off of my mind. I'm feeling kind of lonesome, just not in a way I can't explain. I'm not sure what I am missing. It's a ghost that I can't see. Always find a new excuse to leave and come back home. Chasing things I think I need, but really don't. I needed more than white lines. You to get this restlessness off of my mind. I needed more than white lines to get all this restlessness off of my mind.
That, are we back?
We're back.
Can you hear us yet?
Yeah.
All right, there we go. So the reason we were giggling is we were trying to talk to you, but we didn't realize we were muted before you started that song. But
I realized he didn't realize.
okay, well, I went to chatting like a dumbass. Beautiful. Obviously, the chat blew up with affection. I love it when you sing high like that, man. When you get up in them high, like you do it right at the end of that EP, right on that last song of the EP.
Yeah.
I dig it, man. I dig it. I like that vocal range for you. I like it. I wanted to say journey, but I just like at the last minute I was like, can't do it.
Yeah, it's I've been intentionally trying to work on that. I had a really higher, I had a lot, the ability to go a lot higher in my range.
Mm-hmm.
I was still touring all the time. I've lost that from not doing it. And it's so fun to just be able to belt out at,
Right.
I mean,
I love a good sad song that goes real high and real loud. You know what I mean? Like it's a combination. It's like it lets you remote emote like a telehealth appointment.
yeah, it's
I love it. I love it.
it lets you really put some of that the sadness into the like almost like belting out when you lose a lover.
Right. Injecting drama.
Yeah.
I love it.
You gonna ask him?
Yeah, we debated while you were singing that song if we were gonna ask this or not, but
I'm an open book.
okay, here we go. What a Mennonite is.
What a Mennonite is. No, that's cool.
You're the worst.
So
You're the
Mennonite,
worst, man. I'm sorry. This dude over here just starts laughing into the mic as when I ask my question. Like,
it's okay.
is that not the nature of our discussion?
That is not what we talked about.
We discussed whether or not we wanted to talk about religion.
But that question is way better.
Oh.
But let's start with what a Mennonite is. For we got a lot of Christian kids in the audience.
Yeah.
We might have some others that haven't really made themselves known, nor need they. But let's get into it.
Yeah. So Mennonites are they would technically be part of like the Anabaptist tradition of Christianity.
Anti-Baptist.
Ooh, I grew up Southern Baptist, so I'm
Ultra-
all about
ultra
hearing
Baptist.
this anti-Baptist. Talk to me about that.
Tell us about the Anti-Baptists.
The
They're like no immersion, zero immersion.
So
I might be an anti-Baptist.
Yeah.
We might already be on
They're
the
like
same team.
they actually like your profession of faith. You have to dehydrate yourself.
So I can what I can tell you about Mennonites is they often get confused with Amish people, which is really funny to me.
Why is it that they're confused?
Well, they dress plainly, or certain sections of them dress plainly and wear like head coverings, and they're mostly a lot of them are farmers, but the Mennonites would be kind of more a part of like the Anabaptist section of Christianity, and like a lot of their tenets are like pacifism. They were a really big part of the civil rights movement. They
Very, as was the Southern Baptist Church, just on
Yeah, they were definitely involved
on the other
in the
side.
civil rights and moving
are-
something.
They
they're historically abolitionists.
Yeah.
The Mennonites,
Yeah.
historically abolitionists. Yeah.
Yeah. And they're really interesting. They they don't they were conscientious objectors throughout both of the world wars and really, I mean, just throughout all time. They have like a real strong belief of in nonviolence. And they they're kind of just like simple rural folks in a lot of ways. At least all of them that I know, it's come from farmers and stuff. Obviously, over time, people change as society changes, but that's still a really big stronghold. And without getting too deep into their theologies, they're just a lot of like very simple faith, and my it's pretty cool.
Cody says that
All right.
they are the Neil Young of religious culture.
Okay, here it is. Here it is. Let's see it, Cody.
Yeah,
Back it up, bro.
Yeah, back that argument
Back it up. Let's see it.
please.
Mennonite anti-war abolitionist pacifist. Why the term Christian is often too broad a brush.
Preach, Cyber.
That's a good point. That's a good
Preach,
point.
Cyber, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, my it's kind of funny because I don't I don't practice anymore.
I don't practice the guitar ever either.
Like I don't even have
Ever.
one out at my house.
He
Like,
only
what was it-
he
what would you
says
do?
he knows my songs. He does not. He does not know a song.
Yeah. So I'm not a practicing guitarist.
No.
I feel like though that's not maybe what you meant.
Yeah, maybe not.
I have I'm trying to be a practicing guitar player. I'm getting better.
So what does the Mennonite practice look like?
It's very communally oriented. Like me growing up, we still went to a lot of
Barn raisings?
I never went to a Mennonite barn raising. I did go to a couple of Amish barn raisings.
Okay, I did it. I did the thing that you meant, right?
Mm-hmm.
I did that.
Probably not a thing.
Yeah. No Mennonite barn raising that we're aware of yet.
They probably did do that, but because they don't have any qualms with technology or don't believe that technology is like the devil and stuff,
They just 3D print barns now.
they just 3D print barns now. So we grew up going to a lot of like funerals and weddings and different parties at the Mennonite church. And one thing that I always took away from these things is like the entire community was always invited, and they meet around.
Very anti-Baptist as well.
Very anti-Baptist. Yeah.
I bet the anti-Baptist weddings were so much more fun than the Southern Baptist weddings. I've never been to a more boring event in my entire life.
Those Mennonites, they drink a beer or two?
In private, I think.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that in religion where they have beers together, whatever that is.
Well, there's a few of them, and some of them I run the other way from. So,
Well, what's your stance now, man? Where are you at these days? So you were a part of a bunch of Christian festivals and a lot of growing up around it, but where are you at these days?
it depends on the day. My journey with this is that I grew up in a non-denominational, very like Christian right, moral majority type of church, and from there was a lot of when I finally left, it was because some things were unearthed that really affected me and really affected my family. And I wasn't I remember always having doubts. from an early age of being like, this kind of doesn't really make sense, but also like having like certain experiences that I couldn't explain. Um, so, uh, when I left there, I went to church with the guys I ended up being in a band with, because I was a fan of their band, and they always like were really kind to me, and I needed a safe place. And then down the road, like once Jess and I got married and I had been touring, I was like, I need some separation from these people because I literally live with them. One year we did 287 shows. Actually, for 2 years in a row, we did about 280 shows. And
man, that's a lot.
That is wild.
That's a lot of time in the van, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
If you're lucky, yeah.
And I will not say that I wouldn't say that the tour routing was always
that's brutal. That is brutal. That schedule with bad routing.
You cannot plan a good tour if you're playing 280 plus gigs.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, like those years, we did full European and Russian tours as well as full Canadian tours. So it's not as if we were just driving around the States, the entire time. So I eventually found myself to get back to the subject, I eventually found myself in a Reformed church setting, kind of like a Presbyterian, these people were like in like the Phil Driscoll kind of, predestination kind of section of things. And that worked for me a lot just because I'm a very highly philosophical person, and there's a lot of really intentional work done in that way, within that part of the tradition. I wouldn't say that I agree with it now. In fact, like some of the tenets of that really caused some inner turmoil to the point where I became suicidal.
Oh wow.
And to also be fair, like that was just because, again, like I'm not crapping on anybody's belief system. Like for me, there were just certain things that when I drew conclusions, it made me really feel insecure about what happens after this life. And then, so I spent about 5 years ingesting from all angles of the religion itself, like, different books and, from N.T. Wright to Peter Enns to, Ravi Zachariah to, just all like as many things as I could take in. And I just got to this point where, I was like, this doesn't work for me anymore. I don't know. So I just gave it up. I gave up the need to classify myself in that way. I will say, like, one of the things that I do, like, that I would say is probably my most the place where I find myself, like, most commonly still, like, comes kind of from some things I've learned from studying Christianity. But there's a point in the Bible where where Paul's talking to the philosophers in Greece or in Athens, and they're asking him about his God, and he makes a reference to the altar to the unknown God. And the man who put that up was a guy named Epimaeus, and he purposefully removed himself from society because he wanted to try and figure out what he thought about God, and without all the outside influence. And So you know, he was a poet that just lived out in the woods, and he kind of had this perspective of like, you know, he believed that a God existed, but like you just didn't know that we could ever name that God. And you know, like I said, depending on the day, I can be agnostic, or I can lean more atheist, or I can be like, yeah, there's probably something, but it just depends. Like I think I'm at a point right now where I'm like, um, there's no way for me to answer this. I've chosen a certain set of beliefs about God, about a God, if they exist, that um, I just hope that they see the earnestness in which I handle this situation, because I don't know that I mean, I'm sure somebody has like a really good grasp on it, but it's really hard to get that, when you start being really when you're honest about the histories of all the religions, and the way that we have collected writings and data from each and every one of them, and even just dating things, and on top of that, like the similarities between each one of them, without, I don't want to dishonor each religion by saying they're all exactly the same, because they're not, and I want to honor the differences as well. But at a certain point, I think I'm at a place in life where if God exists, I hope that they know that I'm just trying my best, and I'm hoping that I'm treating people as good as I can, and that I'm trying to make the world better. And I hope that's enough if there's something after this. And if there's nothing after this, I'm also okay with that, because eternity is a long ass time.
It's long. Like I
And
made it to 38, and
yeah,
I'm already feeling like it's over.
That
I'm
dude's 39 years old. Don't let him tell y'all that.
yeah.
He's
I mean,
39.
I'm 35 and I'm tired. I'm like,
Yeah,
hey.
I'm already done.
But here's the thing. Oh, man, I want to talk about the doctrine of hell, but I'm not researched enough up on it. But I want to take a swipe at it
yeah,
because I don't like the existential manipulation. I
yeah,
think so. So, I listened to Who Killed Mars Hill. Of course, I've been keeping up with
I did too.
the other Driscoll from Seattle, now in Arizona, I believe.
yeah. Mark, I said Phil Driscoll. I meant Mark Driscoll. Phil Driscoll.
Okay,
Okay,
I was wondering who
yeah,
the hell
I got
Phil
you.
was.
Phil
I got
Driscoll's a trumpet
Phil,
player.
Phil Driscoll is a different person, but yeah, and I think like the the thing that we're seeing is that I don't know that he was like so much of a the central figure, but he was such a big figure in this movement that happened that
So many of our
so
friends.
many late Gen X and early millennials were a part of. And it's that whatever it is, the Reformation, it's like this, the Reform revival or whatever it is, or resurgence or whatever, like
Yeah.
that growth of Reformed
It's like
theology,
part of the Acts 29 movement, and
and that big movement, and then everything that came after it, and that's just one of those things where you look at that central story, and then you can look at all of the emulation around it, and there is so much abuse coming out about it. There's so much
yeah,
abuse when it comes to leadership and the way that the elitism of the group of people that work there over the other people there, and the kind of the commodification of people coming through the door. And it's just kind of like the fruit of this tree is showing itself very publicly right now. And you could argue that there's a reckoning coming for years of, like, especially churches covering for, financial corruption, sexual abuse of children for decades, maybe centuries. there's like a reckoning coming for the way the church handled that, because they always got to protect the church, right? Which I would say is protecting the brand. So they got to protect that from the bad press that might come from people finding out that a priest was molesting children. And when they get on that protection racket, it goes on and on and on and on. All these stories are coming out. And now we can all talk to people all over the world, and we're hearing all these stories, and there's definitely a reckoning coming. But it is happening at high volume for this millennial reformed movement. And I was in it. I definitely experienced it for sure.
I mean, it's not contained to one particular tradition. I mean, the thing is like, I will not, I'm not one of these people, like, I don't even engage in the discussion of, are humans inherently good or are they inherently evil anymore? I'm like, it's just not helpful, and unfortunately, like, we're capable of a lot of really great things, and we're capable of a lot of really horrible things, and I think within the context of religion, I think people become more of them, like who they are in most cases within that context, and like people who like have a desire to be in control and to have power, like if they have a belief system attached to that, like those things are gonna come through. Like there's also like a lot of religious organizations that I think are really good and helpful and really wonderful, and I think that people within those organizations are just being more of like who they are, and it's also not even to say that like people who behave in a certain way can't change.
Right.
It's
I believe that. I also believe that we should own up to our shit. And once you have shown us that you can own up to your shit and work to make things right, I'm a big believer in redemption. But redemption is not a thing that is bestowed upon you; it is something that you earn. And there's an argument for, are all things redeemable? Who knows? And I am not talking in existential terms, spiritual terms about redemption or propitiation or any of that stuff. I'm specifically talking about redemption when it comes to like the way that you are viewed and the Mandalorian, but like the way that you're viewed and the way that you're revered and all that stuff. Cody got something he wants to add to the conversation. Says, y'all ever tried that Red Berry Special K cereal?
I haven't, but man, I've been tearing up that Kroger brand honey and almond, which is kind of similar to that like Special K stuff.
I'll tell you, I ate a lot of that Red Berry Special K when I was running marathons. It's solid, man. You're right about that. Also, let's talk about religion a little bit. So, my question for you is, how do you feel currently about the concept, about the idea that your eternal well-being was leveraged, whether accurately or not, to get you to do something or be a part of something? How do you feel about that now? Like, because you have the existential feeling that I have, which is, if this institution can't be trusted, suddenly that creates in me an urgent existential dread, specifically a post-mortem type of dread, And
it's a hell of a way to describe it.
What do you feel about that doctrine now?
Well, I guess I should first say I'm not afraid of any outcome after I die.
Okay, wait.
Oh,
hear me out. Hold on a second.
We got a lot of outcomes. Have you watched movies before?
Let me. Can we just each pitch you one and you tell us if you're afraid of it?
I mean,
going zombies
I've got one that you can't unhear.
Let me
never sleep again.
Let me explain what I mean.
We got it.
No, here's the deal. No, we get it. Okay,
we're
so
fixing to scare the hell out of you.
so they were always lizard people, and this was an experiment. And now that you're dead, they're going to experiment on all the inside parts of you, and you're conscious.
I mean,
how do we know that doesn't happen like in another realm? The reptiles are like, they bring your soul in and they're like, now, you know what? We kicked your ass all over Earth. Now we're going to do it to your soul. How about that one? Are you scared of that one?
I mean, I feel like if I'm able to adapt as like a sentient human in this life, I would probably adapt in that way. It would suck for a while, but
that is the most intrepid shit I have ever heard. That is so fucking intrepid.
At a certain point, like they can only cut you so many times, and you're just like, oh, it's just a normal feeling now.
Right? Yeah.
I mean,
all right, you got one? You want to pitch one to him?
I felt like yours was just so thought out. It was like everything that's coming to my mind it just does not sound thought out because I haven't thought about it ever. All right, let's just go with the religion thing. Let's go with
straight up fire.
No, for me it's like either listening to the worst singer in the audience sing above. Like that one lady,
personal hell.
That one lady or that one dude that sings way too loud and is like by far the worst, like painfully bad. And they also may have a tambourine, or they also might have some type of percussive instrument. Like
cowbell.
Having that person on stage with the microphone and nobody else singing, for eternity.
I want to know what Brett means by the afterlife is Deborah's Airbnb.
So in the Discord, they were trying to find an Airbnb, and Deborah turned Cody down because he wasn't the Airbnb material.
Holy shit, he's like the cleanest of all of us, the nicest of all of us.
It was a what was it called? It was like a really nice place, but there's a.
Can I also just point out that Bert's definition of hell is exactly what I was talking about when I was talking about in-ear monitors earlier.
Exactly. Oh, Victorian. That was it. So Deborah has a Victorian experience house in Leavenworth.
Okay.
And she literally told him in the message, it said, "I don't believe a Victorian experience is what you need."
Oh, wait, the place is called Cody's Rest.
It's called Cody's Rest.
And she said no.
An incredible Victorian experience. And then she said, "I don't believe a Victorian experience is what you need."
So did we end up going with
And then,
Deborah's?
time out. The best part of the story is Cyber Cowboy creates an Airbnb the next day, and she accepted Cyber's request and not Cody's.
But all these dudes are staying there, right?
I don't know who's staying with who.
How many people? Who's staying at the Airbnb? How many people? I heard an invite if somebody wanted to get on it. Who's staying where? How many beds are left? Can I just stay there Saturday night?
Okay, but speaking of the reunion, we got to talk.
Yeah.
Now, somebody mentioned it before that Brandon played like 600 songs last time at the reunion.
Did you?
He did. I
did you?
We did not.
I don't remember how many songs I played.
You did a lot of the heavy lifting. All right, and so
you're gonna have to do it again. Is what we're telling you.
Unbeknownst to you,
correct.
I have actually, thanks to one person in the Discord. I don't know if this person wants me to say their name, so I'm not going to say their name. There's been a little chatter going on behind the scenes without you knowing about. I created a little text channel that I invited everybody in the Discord except you. 70-something people, and it's called "Bring Brandon to Reunion."
Mm-hmm.
So I have reached out to folks and said that we love you a lot, and since you did so much of the work last time, and you're telling us about struggling to find a job and not being in the best place financially, we decided to do what we do around here, which is raise some money for you. And I'm really excited to say that do we need to add this on a calculator? Because
We probably-
I'm going to say the wrong number.
We probably should see it. We probably should.
But we raised $300 for you to help your expenses to come on over to the reunion. So I'm going to shoot you that money. I'm going to take 40%.
Also, if you just want to keep that money and not go to the reunion,
That's also, this is
F these guys.
this is just to love on you. You do with what you want. We would love for you to come to the reunion. You don't have to. The only problem is if he doesn't come to the reunion, then the venue that we booked is going to realize how terrible we are musicians. We were kind of counting on you, but you don't have to come.
No pressure, but we might get shut down.
We might have to practice.
I
That's not gonna happen.
I think we're gonna get shut down.
I wish I had like words. Because
Welcome to my life, Brandon.
Yeah.
Like this kind of crap, this donation crap, it doesn't make any sense. These people are out of their damn minds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna come. So,
Come on now.
It's I need to there's some logistics I need to figure out for my son and stuff like that. But that's so far out. I'm sure I can just pawn them off on grandma and grandpa. So, so I love this community of people, and it's kind of funny because Chad, sad Chad, as
It was Chad, by the way.
Chad Dad.
It was Chad.
Sad Chad. I mean, we've Chad. How long have we known each other now? It's been a long time. I can't remember how long, but it's been a long time. I mean, it's his fault I'm here. So,
also kind of same for me. No offense to anybody else, but Sad Chad's behavior at the reunion just made me so happy.
It was glorious.
It was wonderful. It like made me believe in what we do.
I mean, I think something I love, just to speak to everyone that I have met through this, and I think this community is so special. In a lot of things like this, there's a lot of pretension, and there's a lot of weird tribalism that happens. And I think something that I love so much about this crew of people is it's very unique, and it's very special. And I think that just the way that people love to just talk to each other and create lifelong bonds is a beautiful thing. And that's something that I've always looked for in my life. And I don't get to be as involved because I'm just trying to make stuff work, but this group of people holds a very special place in my heart, because it's I see all the way that people encourage one another and push each other to just have fun in this and do things. Sorry, Cody's asking about V-neck.
This dude step on a moment all the time.
Man, just anytime there is a moment.
The worst.
Anytime there is a moment, you get just
read
guaranteed.
the room codes.
You know
the room.
You know that he just has these comments waiting.
This crew is a really special crew. A lot of people don't do that. A lot of people, they're so internally focused that they forget that the best thing you can do is push everyone around you and to love on everybody else around you. And I think that that's just such a really special thing in this world. So even if nobody had given, and even if I had to just figure out a way to get there, I want to be around you guys. All of you guys are just such wonderful human beings.
It's the Chuck Diesel effect. It is this. Everybody, man.
As I
know.
stoop lower, everyone else comes up a little bit, steps up, just a little more decent, a little more moral, a little bit smarter, a little bit better looking. As I continue to degrade, I am the portrait of Dorian Gray for this whole community.
So keep you away from mirrors.
Oscar Wilde. Yeah, I guess like don't let me, don't y'all look at me, or don't let me look at myself, or I'm not sure what it is.
Yeah.
Brent said, "Can you email me that statement?" What statement is he talking about?
Was it
his donate? Are you talking about your donation?
Was it his?
He said, "I want to hang it in my cubicle at work." What statement are we talking about?
I don't know. It must be further.
I think Brent really enjoyed your comment about religion earlier. Is that what he's talking? Somebody wants to be around. Oh, somebody wants to be around me. Yes, that Chuck Diesel quote.
Look, man. Here's the thing about it is that.
Oh no, he's talking. Man, I'm so confused. He's talking about Brandon saying somebody wants to.
Yeah, look. The fact that somebody's reading the thing in your cubicle makes it real. Put it up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Put it up. Put the date on it. Put it up tomorrow and have the date on it so people see it. It's from yesterday, and then tell them you've had it in your cubicle for 10 years.
All right, man. Well, we're looking forward to the reunion.
Yeah.
Did he freeze?
I froze.
Did we freeze?
Where'd you go? I was told I had to have good internet.
I know, right? I know. At least we're still here. Hold on. I bet somebody's trying to call me.
The only
when you were in Russia, can you hear me?
Yeah.
When you were in Russia, were they like, bro, play MXPX, bro? Play
Russia. Let me tell you, Russia. That is like you might as well go to another planet.
Right.
That was one of the. I've been there. I think 6 or 7 times. 8 times. I've been there a lot of times. Ooh. Wow.
Damn, I'm ugly.
Stop talking about my friend like that. They don't ask you to play other bands. They don't, like, a lot of them do speak some English, but even the people who don't speak English learn your lyrics and they scream them at you.
They learn the sounds and yell them at you.
Truly. It is
so great.
It's amazing.
That's kind of what I do with punk rock anyway. I don't really know what the lyrics are. I'm just kind of hitting the the vowels mostly.
There's not a lot of enunciation happening in punk rock songs.
You hit the cadence, you know. Yeah, no, normally they're like, they just want you to play your songs and they want you to play your entire catalog all the way through.
That's front to back, bro. Front to back.
So start at the beginning and we go all the way to the end. So,
well, Brandon, we're pumped about having you. Thanks so much for. Coach said that's what I'd do to Bird if he ever toured up north. The good thing about my catalog is it's very short. Yeah. That would not take probably near as long as theirs took. We love you, buddy. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Everybody, please go check out Brandon's music on all of the places. Dear Carl is my favorite song. But you want to shout out anything you got coming up or anything that we should be watching out for, man?
You know, not outside of the Chicagoland area, other than going to the reunion.
Hallelujah.
You know, I'm actually, you know, I do need to talk to Mr. Boland because I'm going to be driving through Denver. So, helping a friend move shortly after the reunion, and I was thinking about booking a show that night. And he happens to be a pedal steel player that started with me. But outside of that, I mean, you know, I always just appreciate all y'all, you know, paying attention and being encouraging and always like loving on me and like loving on each other. That's such a really wonderful thing for me to see. It makes me feel really good about the world that I live in. So you guys all rule. So thank you.
Cody asked if Brent's going to be the co-headliner, or is Cody going to be the co-headliner?
Whoever,
I don't know, man.
whoever needs to be the headliner can be.
I'm
the opener. Remember,
Trial by ritual combat for who is
trial
the
by
headliner.
ritual combat. Yes, we will practice the sacred fight of Circle Pit.
Well, dude, thanks so much for coming on. Appreciate you. Love you. I guess we're going to see you in
We'll
about
see
a month.
Yep, a month
Straight up
from
month.
a month from tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm gonna be there, y'all. I booked everything.
He's don't believe a word he says. He
happens.
thought it was in St. Louis until last week.
I mean, that's true. Guess how I found out that it wasn't in St.
And
Louis?
then-
I started booking shit.
And then he says that he booked a hotel that was 35 minutes away from the venue.
35
And then he
miles.
tried to convince me to drive him back to the hotel after the reunion
So he could sleep on the couch
so I could sleep on the couch.
instead of in the van.
Are you-
Sounds like best friends to me. Sounds like best friends.
There ain't no way.
Are you
35 miles out of where I need to be going. I got a 10-hour drive the next day.
No, it is. It's 35 miles southeast.
Is it?
Yeah. It's actually in the direction you're going. It's a head start. I'm just here to help.
No, I'm just going to leave the van in the hotel, then we get Uber back.
You can be splitting that over with me, bro.
I'll split
This is going to be the heaviest expense for me.
That
It don't
30
matter how much I drink. I'm still going to pay too much in Uber versus how much I spend on anything else.
It's possible.
I mean, maybe what we should do is like get those little Lime scooters, and just we do those.
What's the battery capacity? Do you think that thing can do 35 miles?
I mean,
And I just fall asleep 15 miles into it.
Either way, it'll be fun. You get halfway there and then you walk the rest of the way.
Cody's
Sober up.
Cody is not lying.
It was a good point. Cody has a good reminisce from last year. He says Bert booked a place across town because he assumed we were going to kill him, and
Internet friends.
made me pick him up for brunch every day.
Internet friends I've never trusted. Unless I hang out with you. I got to hang out with you once.
I still don't trust you guys to
Yeah.
not kill me.
All right, man. Well, I'm going to bed. I love you, Brandon.
Me
Hope
too.
you and your family are doing well. We've got to figure out at least a song or two that we can play together before Chuck takes over the stage and does whatever the hell he's going to do.
I got 2 songs. I only know 5 songs, and I can only sing 2.
There's a list going on around, right? So that we can learn all the songs beforehand, right?
Yeah, now
What?
that they got this like 600 song list there ain't no way.
I must have looked at it and ignored it.
I think what we should do is somebody say, "Hey, I want to play this song. Like, who wants to play it with me?" And then
Yeah.
have people that really like that song be like, "I want to play electric on this song, or I want to do this." But like, just having a list of all these songs. Nope. First off, I'm not learning them. I think we should plan to like collab with certain people. Be like, I want to play this song with Chuck, or I want to play. There are 23 songs.
450.
450.
450.
We're gonna work out the plan that they have is a terrible plan. That's all I'm saying. I'm going to get it together, and then show up on the day of and not plan
Good
anything.
God. I was like, if we're relying on you for organization,
I'm gonna have the iPad for the lyrics though.
you just all we gotta do is convert them to the Nashville number system, and then you
Yeah.
say, "Hey, we're gonna play this song in this key," and then you have the numbers right in front of you.
Every time I try to tell Chuck the number system, he doesn't get them anymore. He's not as tight with them as he used to be. Be throwing them numbers at
it's
him.
not that. It's like I'm hard of hearing, and I'm like, "What's next?" And you're like, 2, and I'm like, "Blue." What chord is blue?
The minor seven.
I can't be
Exactly.
trusted.
You got any final words, Dees?
I would like to say, enjoy the springtime while it's here. Soon it will be summer.
It's not gonna stay long.
Miserable.
It's not gonna stay long.
It was 20 degrees a couple days ago here.
Yeah, it's pretty cold.
Dude, it was
here.
26
Or it
here
was- yeah.
2 days ago, or 24 or something, which
Yeah.
is insane.
Yeah, it was enough to make my my windows fog up a little bit, and so I just turned around, went back to bed, called in sick to work. That's it.
Oh man. You know, twice in 1 year when I lived in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, I had to scoop 6 feet of snow off my roof. Twice.
Good Lord,
That's stupid.
man!
That's so stupid.
One time,
That's almost Texas stupid.
one time when I lived down in New Orleans, we had to get rid of like 6 bodies one night, and
Going there this weekend, baby.
is that not the? Is not you were like not a good transition. Man, it was great talking to you. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us and sharing some of the real inside Brandon Good stuff. And appreciate that.
Now, everybody go watch that new Mandalorian episode. I've already seen it.
It's good.
No spoilers.
It's good.
It's good.
It's real good.
You're like, wait, what?
Yeah, it's good.
yeah.
Which that might have just gave it away. But okay.
What?
What? All right, Brandon. See everybody. Y'all have a great night.